All right, everyone. With a very few exceptions, the Republicans are generally not good at beating people. They're capable of taking office, but they're not capable of scoring any major ideological victories or anything like that. Joe Biden, ironically, has done more, I think, to damage the Democratic Party than any Republican other than maybe Donald Trump, maybe Rand Paul, I suppose. Massey is on the list, I guess, has recently. He's sort of like the Geek Squad on steroids. The Geek Squad crippled the Democratic Party's coalition, but Joe Biden is crippling it further. He's burning down the house on his way out the door. He's saying weird shit. He clearly torpedoed Kamala Harris's campaign, and he did it on goddamn purpose. By the way, she would be number 2 on the list of Democrats that have crippled the party, which is, by the way, as a nonpartisan, not something that I actually enjoy seeing. I would like it if the Democratic Party reformed, like Manchin said the other day, well, we're no longer the party of, kitchen table politics, now it's all this woke bullshit. If the Democratic Party were to reform and go back to a sort of like a party of JFK structure, I would feel just at home with them as I would the Republicans in the political sense, because I don't align with the Republicans on a host of issues. But the thing is, the Democrats went so far off into left field, I'm like, God damn, Donald Trump is technically a liberal. He's actually coherent, he's actually making sense. Are the Democrats coherent and making sense at the moment? Let me ask that rhetorically. The Democrats went all in on leftoidism, on idpol, critical race theory, wokeness, jabby McJab mandates and stuff like that, and they alienated people. That's what they did. And Joe Biden went along for the ride. It didn't help that he was also completely incoherent. You saw the one presidential debate there, and ended up having to literally drop his campaign entirely, leaving behind someone who got the money from his campaigning, but had none of the tact. Him and Harris are basically the dream team of destroying the Democratic Party. That's the irony. No, the Republicans didn't do that. They did it to themselves. We need to do a wellness check because there's some self-harm going on over there. Kamala Harris is mentally unsound. She's beyond a slow adult. She's also frequently intoxicated. You may have noticed this from some of her public spectacles. Joe Biden is a dementia patient. I don't know which one is worse. Honestly, I still think the Democrats should have not knocked Biden out and simply stuck with him. You gain the incumbency. Is he a moron? Yes. Is he no longer coherent? Yes. Would he probably have done better than Kamala Harris? I insist that he would have. I think at the very minimum you would have gotten Pennsylvania, not gotten completely humiliated. I think he would have gotten that state. Harris, she was practically completely incoherent. Like sometimes I don't know what she was even trying to say. Over the cackling, it was kind of difficult to understand if she was even speaking a human language sometimes. She will be exiting politics, by the way. When the Democrats say, well, we're going to run her again in 2028, are you insane? Yeah, I'll call that election on day one. She's not capable of winning the presidency. She can go and be governor of California. She could definitely win there because it's so hyper-partisan. But that's, it's not going to happen. There's not going to be a Kamala Harris presidency. Lord help her, if she faces off against Vance, she'll probably lose worse than she lost against Donald Trump, by the way. It's Joe Biden mainly, though, that's destroying the Democratic Party. It's not the Republicans. It's not Russian disinformation. It's not state propaganda. It's none of these things. It's the result of Joe Biden staying in office too long and becoming demented. Now, Donald Trump is the same age as Joe Biden was when he took up his term. But Donald Trump is apparently still of sound mind. What we saw from Joe Biden, and the Democrats should have fucking known this, but apparently they're just too moronic to have noticed at the time. Joe Biden was already faltering mentally before he even took office. During the primaries, he was still kind of with it. It wasn't very far into his presidency that he had pretty much, flipped his gourd. He had lost it. Now, some Democrats read this and they analyze it and say, well, He is responsible for Kamala Harris' loss because he stayed in too long and should have known. I would point out, though, that every liberal commentator said he was perfectly fine up until the debate performance. Nonetheless, though, he is responsible for destroying the Democratic Party. The down-ballot bleeding was considerable. The Democrats should have retaken the House. But at the end, I predicted that they wouldn't. The Republicans would effectively break even. Lord help the Democrats in the midterms, they don't even have a leader at this point. Joe Biden is going to end up going down in history as not being in history at all. It is the asterisk administration. The liberals are going to be the ones that throw him under the bus and don't even want to talk about his legacy, by the way. It will be the liberals that disappear him from the textbooks. It will not be a bunch of conservatives who dislike him. It will be people who liked him, realized that they were wrong, said, oh shit, and now they don't want to talk about it anymore. It's that relative that sits up in the attic and nobody wants to talk about them to the guests. Well, here's Sally Sue and little Joey. Where's your third child? What third child? That's basically Joe Biden in a nutshell. It's actually almost pathetic to see, but he did accomplish one major thing. He absolutely backstabbed Kamala Harris and drove her down. That was masterful. Yeah, he just puts on a MAGA hat and starts talking about unity. That's not telling at all. By the way, Harris's staff and Biden's staff probably have like pitched battles in the halls of the goddamn White House and Capitol at this point. Did you see Jill Biden and her interactions with Kamala? Oh wait, there were none. They didn't talk to each other at all. Then Jill Biden came out and was mocking the concept of joy. Again, very, very telling. The Bidens managed to accomplish one absolutely great thing. You prevented Kamala Harris from taking office. Thank you. That's about all. Peace out.